going to proceed with the rest of this just because I didn't want to make a video an hour long. And again, we're going like full on sort of off script because I don't know, I just want to tell the story raw and how it is. So where was I with this? Oh yeah, basically when it came down to conventions, pretty much in the beginning of the year, two stood out on the top of my mind. The first one was BronyCon, which it was a big staple for the MLP fandom, rest in peace convention. But also, a newcomer was on the table, Everfree Northwest, which, as you know, is, at this time, was in Seattle. Now they're moving over to Bellevue for the 2020 season. But sort of back on the subject of Everfree, pretty much it didn't take as long as BronyCon to get to Everfree. I mean, it was like it started around when I was like a few months into the fandom, so that was like 3 months or so, maybe 2.5. But it was that I got sort of hooked on to traveling to this convention, and I'd constantly would ask and ask and ask if we could go. I mean, even if it was for one day, I would be satisfied. But out of those times, all those times that they began in 2012, I mean, almost every year I would ask, and they finally caved in, seeing as how it was my senior year. We finally went to this convention, and if you've seen my videos of Everfree Northwest, you know just how much of a ball and how much of a blast I have at the convention, recording stuff, the panels, everything that goes on in the con floor, keeping all of you up to date with whatever piece of thing I get from the convention, like an autograph or whatever. Like, it's always fun to discuss those onto the convention vlogs. But, like, other than, like, convention stuff, where you're just roaming around the floors and having the voice actors, actresses, show staff, and everyone sign whatever that they want to sign as long as it's appropriate, and then have a photo, pretty much with Everfree, like, it was a huge game changer. I was able to just be out there and be myself. I mean, for Everfree, who didn't enjoy being kind of themselves at the convention? Who didn't? There's just so much in Everfree and the convention memories I've had between that convention and my only BronyCon in 2017 that just I really enjoyed it. I've made such fond memories, I've made such friends, lots of memorable stuff. I mean, freelance work, with the vlogs, I'm pretty much just recording stuff for people that just can't make it to the convention. Kind of why I make the series, why I make con vlogs. What do you even have to say about it? Since I've met people that do convention vlogs themselves, AC Race Bass did it, Drummer Shy, kinda. As I've mentioned, his footage got corrupted in Everfree 2019, so wasn't able to get any of those. But there was pretty much, like, Red Car, one person that stood out. I don't need to mention what he is. I mean, you can just take a look at his vlogs himself. I mean, I feel like when Everfree 2015 was coming close and he was starting to do his vlogs, I was like, you know, I should try my hand at that. Try a hand at this convention vlog thing and see if it's my thing. And just from there, it spiraled out. It became one of my favorite things to do while editing videos. And just became routine. Just had a fun experience at Everfree overall, and I hope people are enjoying the vlogs either way. Just the big memories of it, it's really hard to pull into words. But I don't think it's really as massive as what this fandom's really done, which is expanding my friendship. Yes, expanding the friendship. I've mentioned in the previous video that I've mentioned that I was in the Seattle Bronies group, and my first meetup was with the Equestria Girls screening, and afterwards I've attended a couple of the meetups from time to time, and I've just grown like a load of social cues and everything, like the social skills I've built from those experience and applied it to my trips to Everfree Northwest. But the trip was also added from my own home over the internet. Now, the internet has basically branched everyone in the world to us, whether it be for the good or for the worst. But the experiences I had with knowing people from this fandom, even people that I've made friends with, they've been a positive. Heyday of the fandom, I had maybe 3 or so friends that were MLP fans, not counting the people at the meetup. But when it came down to today, I think I have just about 20 or so MLP friends that I've made online. And it's almost a bit like this spiraling effect on sort of how I met these people. The one example being like how I met Forever v. Brony. Equestria Daily posted one of his songs, one of All Over the Acres, on his page, just as I was about to shut everything down and look at EQD one last time before I head to sleep. They had that up and took a listen to the song, absolutely loved it, left a positive feedback, and he left a response. I went to Everfree 2014, recorded his pony stock performance, put that up online, very appreciative of it. Well, despite the fact that he wasn't about to leave for Argentina for about 2 years, but ever since like 2016 BronyCon, 2017 Everfree, he's been quite pleased with having me upload these videos onto my page, and even as of recently, he's shared the concert footage. I mean, Toucan LDM, while I would meet him in real life at BronyCon 2017, I mean, like, I would meet him through, I'd say it was when the MLP Meet series was just starting to dig itself up from the ground up and starting to become, like, a noteworthy piece of fandom-based videos on EQD, and he was growing a rapid following. Like, it was pretty much, I was there when the MOP Unexpected video was just randomly popped into my recommendation. Before Batman Meets MOP, if I remember that one right, it was the MOP Unexpected video that I found out about him. And just followed him. But it's just this one big domino effect. I mean, the early days, I would know maybe 2 or 3 people that would have slight chat with on their YouTube page or whatever, on the videos. Unlike today, where it's pretty much, I'm friends with like multiple people that are a fan of this show, and it's the fan base, this fact that this show, this Friendship is Magic TV series, was one that was so big, so grand, and had all of the love of friendship so much that I think it changed me for the better, to be a better person, to be open towards people, express what I like, even if there's some people that don't. If I'm passionate about what I like, then there may be a few others that would probably feel the same way and maybe open up. But with me, it was, again, this domino effect. The big notoriety example of how I got to have probably one of my best friends in this fandom was, again, this domino effect. Because this began, I believe, in 2014, 2016, or somewhere around there, where I was developing my OC, making him who he is, instead of just this, here's a photo of him, that's all you need to know. No, like, develop his story, like, where's he from, what does he like, what does he hate, full name, whatever pony race he is. That's pretty much what it was a bit like. I mean, this was, again, heydays, and it pretty much just began with me knowing a DeviantArt artist, which followed into a DeviantArt user. I'm going to only refer to the first names of their pony characters. So, pretty much it was the artist of the Rainbow Venom picks, which was GamerPen. Then following up that was Console, which led me to follow Insane Spiral, his friend, the Console, which is friends with Insane Spiral. Then there was Draco. Yeah, Draco, that's Griffin OC. Then it kind of led me back to Console, or Insane Spiral, where I met Frost, and where I met another person who's in the MLP but is also a Final Fantasy fan. This could go on for maybe an hour or so, but as much as I would like to try and talk about it, I want to try and keep things short as possible. So back to the story. Pretty much right where Frost enters the story, that's kind of where unexpectedly it pretty much like changed me for the better. Make me feel almost grateful to be a human being living on this planet, especially with whatever on Earth's going on in this day and age. The things that you can't get your mind out of and all that. I feel like Frost was one that sort of was the big game changer for me. And pretty much it was like an evolution of him and I. We would sometimes chat with each other almost every day. We'd talk about our taste in movies, some common interest, ideas we'd have for like photos of one another's OCs in this scenario, just as this, or all that. It evolved from being on DeviantArt, and it went to Skype, and then it suddenly moved on to Discord as of recently, of 2018. But that one year, the 1 year I was on Skype, which I'd like to say it was 2017, but I don't remember off the top of my mind. But back to the subject. When it came down to practically knowing the guy for a good, I'd say, year by this point, because I think we met in 2016 or somewhere at the end of 2015. Yeah, time flies and you forget how you met, but it was definitely through DeviantArt that I met him. On Skype on New Year's Eve, he basically chatted, reflecting on the years go by and everything, and in one comment, in one little text message, he said, "Thank you." It was, at least my reaction was, what was it? But I read a bit more, and he said, "Thank you for for helping me with my social skills," if I remember the text right. In it, I was speechless. I mean, I think like a couple of seconds later he also said, "I don't know if you knew it or not, but it was quite a surprise. I helped someone out." It was a big game changer. Like, me, a movie buff and MOP follower, helped someone out. Helped them to be, at least help them with opening up and being social. Now, both him and I still chat with one another. We've never gone separate ways. We've still chat with each other almost every day. I mean, he pretty much is like the best friend he could ever have and even trust. And with him saying that I helped him and he thanked me for it, I choked up a little. It's hard to express that in text without using emojis, but I was pretty choked. I helped someone with social. I helped someone. It was speechless. How do you react to that? And the answer is, I don't know. But it was definitely with this show about colorful horses that befriend one another and learn lessons about one another, and it's not like some cookie cutter be nice and that's it, but like this show, it made such an impact into being a better human being. I helped somebody with social skills, and I never knew about it. I never knew just how much this show made an impact on me. The people that have watched the show and I talk to, I may understand now why this show made such an impact on me. But it's hard to put into words why. I think it just came out at a perfect time with the perfect blend. I'm just left completely speechless just how grateful I am for this generation of MOP, these actresses, writers, developer, and every single one of the people in this fandom that have made such an impact on this world. We broke the barrier. The whole stereotypical, like, boy, girl, pink, blue was broken. There were recent years with TV shows that have partially put MOP-themed Easter eggs into their shows, their games, their anything. And we have the entirety of this show to thank for it. I'm not keenly sure where we go from here. Whether or not I still would be friends with these people I made online, or I may meet down the line, or possibly never, or I have, but they've moved on in their lives, had other things happen that they went off from the show or left the show due to certain thing that happened in life or a scenario in the episode that flipped them over. It's really unknown what will still happen. I still will hold fond memories of this show and this fandom in my mind and in my heart. It's made a big impact on who I am to this very day. I'm sure that there were a couple of follies in some of the MOP episodes, but when it came down to this show, the show that started in 2010 and made a big impact on tons of people from one gender to the next, I have to applaud whatever happened that caused the Brony fandom to begin, what caused the popularity of this show to essentially skyrocket through the roof. Like, even originally when the Hub was around, they were basically open hands to the existence of Bronies. They were open to it. And just hearing them mention the fan base, or being like, howdy ho, Bronies, time for Friendship is Magic here on the Hub. Any of that. It's like they really knew about this fandom. They treated the show, they knew about the fans, and were like, hey, let's play it up a little for them. Throw in a couple of the Easter eggs here, a little Big Lebowski here, a little bit of mythological creature here. and all that, the show really played a big impact. And I just don't know what else to say, but thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for making a magnificent show, for a great fan base, for the creative content and all that. And really honestly, that's really all there is. Thank you. No other words to describe it. I wouldn't be who I am without Friendship is Magic today. Now, this should have ended like a few minutes ago, and it will get there. But if I reflect back on this show when I'm 64, I'll still hold the fond memories I've had with making these friends. From convention like Simmel or Selfie and Crusader, Luna Jax, all of them. Or the online people I've met, Console, Frost, Toucan, LDM, FD Daylight. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have branched out and tried out new things. That wouldn't have happened. But the show managed to do it. And just big old applause. Thank you for a magnificent show, and thank you for being a magnificent fandom. Where my future goes, I don't know. But hopefully, it'll be for the good, for the best, and for the greater good. The greater good. Hot Fuzz reference. If I do not manage to meet any of the people ever again, or I don't have the chance to, or they don't, I hope they will still remember what made them themselves and what made me who I am today. So, just times the infinity of numbers to everyone. Thank you, and thanks for listening to the story.